In Japan, self-discipline isn't taught. It's breathed, lived, and poured into every routine. What if you could train your mind like a samurai, find peace in routines like a monk, and achieve mastery like a craftsman, not through pressure, but through purpose? And today, you're going to learn those secrets. We'll walk through 7 powerful habits used by the Japanese to train discipline, and you'll see how to apply each one to your daily life. Then, we'll reveal the surprise habit that ties them all together. If you've ever struggled with consistency, this is the video that could finally unlock it. Most people believe discipline is about motivation or willpower. They think it's something you either have or don't. But what if that belief is the very reason they keep failing? In Japan, discipline isn't taught as a motivational speech. It's baked into the way people live. From how children clean their classrooms to how sushi masters train for decades before touching the fish, every part of Japanese life is subtly building discipline, focus, and presence. Let's begin with the first habit, a habit rooted in mindfulness, and the opposite of how most people operate today. Ichigyo-zammai. In today's world, multitasking is glorified. People brag about checking emails during meetings, listening to podcasts while writing reports, or scrolling their phones while relaxing. But in Japan, there's a different approach, Ichigyo-zammai, the art of being fully immersed in a single act. This principle is rooted in Zen Buddhism, where even sweeping a floor is considered a form of meditation. It's about treating each action as sacred. This rewires the brain. Japanese chef Jiro Ono, star of Jiro Dreams of Sushi, has been making sushi for over 70 years. Every day, he still perfects the same motions like cutting, pressing, and serving with near spiritual focus. When asked why he never levels up to doing more, he replies, "You must dedicate your life to mastering your skill." Try this. Set aside 20 to 30 minutes a day for deep focus. No multitasking. Pick one task like writing, stretching, or reading, and give it your full attention. Discipline begins not with effort, but with presence, and once your presence is trained, you need to learn when to use it. That's where the second habit comes in. Asa Geiko. Also referred as training early, before the world wakes up, discipline doesn't begin with the day. It begins with the morning. Sumo wrestlers in Japan rise at 4 a.m. for training. But this is not just for tradition. It's discipline in its purest form. A quiet, structured start to the day builds momentum that lasts. Kobe Bryant, though not Japanese, followed the same principle. He often began workouts at 4 a.m., gaining what he called a mental edge over his competition. This doesn't mean you need to become a monk. But by carving out just 30 minutes of intentional activity each morning, like reading, walking, or planning, you signal to your brain, "Today, I lead." Try this. Starting tomorrow, wake up 30 minutes earlier and do one thing that brings structure or clarity. Avoid screens and distractions. This is your dojo now, but structure is not just about time. It's also about environment. Which brings us to the next habit. Soji. In Japan, Soji, the act of cleaning, goes beyond tidiness. From students cleaning classrooms to monks sweeping spotless paths, it's about aligning your outer world with inner clarity. A cluttered space often mirrors a cluttered mind, hindering focus. This resonated with Steve Jobs, whose exposure to Zen minimalism influenced Apple's clean design. His quote, "Simplicity is the ultimate sophistication," reflects this ethos. The deliberate movements of cleaning require presence, pulling you away from mental clutter. It's a form of moving meditation that fosters calm and focus. Taking responsibility for your space also cultivates ownership and respect. Try this. Before your next work session, spend 5 minutes intentionally cleaning your workspace. Approach it as mental preparation, noticing the physical sensations and the shift in your mental state as you create order. Remember, as within, so without, ordering your environment can actively cultivate inner clarity for focused work. Kaizen. Kaizen means continuous improvement through tiny, consistent steps. Post-World War II, this approach propelled Japan's economic recovery, with companies like Toyota achieving global success through daily 1% optimizations. James Clear, in his book, Atomic Habits, highlights Kaizen's power. Small daily improvements compound into significant transformation. It lowers the barrier to starting, making goals feel less daunting. Discipline becomes about consistency, not intense effort. Try this. Pick a goal and identify the smallest possible action you can take today. For example, 5 push-ups, 1 page of reading. Make it too easy to fail. Tomorrow, slightly increase it. This gradual approach builds lasting discipline. However, consistent progress isn't enough for life's inevitable challenges. That's where Gaman, the discipline of quiet endurance, becomes crucial. Gaman is a core Japanese value representing the ability to endure hardship with dignity and without complaint. It's about holding on to your composure even when faced with difficulty. This isn't about suppressing emotions, but rather about processing them internally while maintaining outward grace and resilience. The aftermath of the 2011 tsunami in Japan vividly illustrated Gaman. Despite immense loss and disruption, citizens displayed remarkable patience and cooperation, waiting calmly for aid and supporting each other. This collective strength showcased the power of enduring silently and with consideration for others. In your own life, Gaman can be practiced by pausing before reacting to frustrating situations. Instead of immediately expressing anger or stress, take a moment to breathe and observe your feelings. This quiet endurance builds inner strength and allows for a more thoughtful response rather than a purely emotional one. Try this. When faced with a challenging situation, consciously refrain from immediate reaction. Take a few deep breaths and allow yourself to feel the discomfort without verbalizing or acting on it impulsively. This practice of silent endurance can build significant inner resilience over time, but some things aren't just hard, they're out of our control. That's where the next habit comes in. Shikata-ga-nai. Shikata-ga-nai is a Japanese phrase meaning "it cannot be helped." It embodies a practical philosophy of accepting circumstances beyond your control. This isn't about being passive or giving up, but rather about recognizing where your energy is best spent. The wisdom of Shikata-ga-nai lies in its ability to free up mental and emotional resources. When you stop fighting against the inevitable, you can redirect that energy towards what you can influence. This mindset is key to maintaining discipline in the face of setbacks or unexpected events. Think of Marie Kondo's approach to tidying. When an item no longer serves its purpose, she advocates thanking it and letting it go. This act of acceptance prevents emotional clutter and allows for a more organized and functional space. Try this. The next time you encounter a frustrating situation that is clearly beyond your control, like traffic delays or unforeseen cancellations, consciously say, Shikata-ga-nai, acknowledge the reality of the situation, and then immediately shift your focus to what you can do or how you can adapt. Speaking of strategy, true discipline doesn't just follow rules, it evolves them. That's the secret of habit number 7. Shuhari. Shuhari is a traditional Japanese framework for learning and mastering a skill or art. It outlines 3 distinct stages: shu, obey; ha, break; and ri, transcend. This model emphasizes a structured progression towards mastery. The Shu stage involves diligently learning and adhering to the fundamental rules and techniques without deviation. This builds a strong foundation. The Ha stage comes after a solid understanding is established, allowing for experimentation and the integration of new ideas. Finally, Ri represents a stage of deep mastery where the individual can move beyond rigid forms and operate with intuition and personal expression. Think of a martial artist who initially learns specific forms, then adapts them to their style, and eventually moves with complete freedom and mastery. Try this. Identify a skill you want to develop. For an initial period, commit to strictly following established methods or instructions without trying to innovate. Once you have a solid grasp of the basics, you can then begin to experiment and adapt, eventually working towards a more intuitive and personalized approach. Now that we've explored the 7 core habits, you might think we're done. But remember, we promised one more habit that amplifies all the others. And here it is. Mottainai. Mottainai is a Japanese concept expressing a deep sense of regret over wastefulness, extending beyond material possessions to encompass time, energy, and even attention. It embodies a profound respect for the inherent value of everything around us and within us, prompting a mindful approach to consumption and utilization. Hearing Mottainai, when something is wasted, isn't a scolding, but a gentle reminder of this underlying reverence. The disciplined routine of renowned novelist Haruki Murakami exemplifies Mottainai. His consistent daily habits, running, writing, and maintaining a strict sleep schedule, stem not from obligation, but from a deep respect for his physical and mental energy, his craft, and the finite nature of his time. This mindset fosters a life lived with intention, minimizing wasted potential and maximizing meaningful engagement. Mottainai isn't about feeling guilty for every indulgence, but rather cultivating an awareness of the preciousness of our resources. It encourages us to consider the full value of what we have before discarding it, to use our time purposefully, and to direct our attention with intention. This underlying respect naturally reinforces disciplined choices across various aspects of life. Try this before mindlessly reaching for your phone, switching browser tabs, or engaging in any activity. Pause and ask yourself, is this Mottainai? Am I truly valuing my time, attention, and energy in this moment? This simple act of conscious inquiry can significantly enhance your awareness of potential waste and encourage more disciplined and intentional actions throughout your day. So there you have it, 8 powerful Japanese habits that weave discipline into the very fabric of life, moving it beyond mere obligation. From the focused presence of Ichigyo-zammai to the deep respect of Mottainai, these aren't quick fixes, but pathways to a more intentional and empowered you. But mere knowledge is a seed unplanted. The true awakening begins now, with the first act of intention. Look inward. Among these ancient pathways to discipline, which whispered most clearly to the yearning within you? And in what corner of your world are you ready to weave this quiet Japanese wisdom, allowing its strength to take root?